life or something is a big accomplishment for me because I always felt like I was missing something. And the whole time, the thing I was missing was myself. Like,
So talking back more about your creations, um, what are the various different art forms you participate in? Because I know you are more than just a painter. What are your different art forms?
I mean, I used to be a dancer. Like, I know dance is considered like performing arts, but I used to be a dancer growing up and I stopped because I wanted to focus more on my art. Cause I thought you couldn't do two things in life. And that's my biggest mistake. Like I thought you couldn't be a painter and a dancer. I thought you had to choose like one thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a lesson a lot of people need to learn. Like you can do as many things as you want. Or you can put it all into one. Like you don't have to choose only dance or only art because there's actors and singers and there's models and actors. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to choose one. And I feel like that's where a lot of people get stuck at in life. They're like, oh, I have to only be a nurse. I can't be a hairstylist or I can't be a nail tech and a nurse. I need to pick one. Like I feel like you can do anything. Like I love tap dancing and I just shied away from that because I thought people would think it's weird and but
No,
I
I
might start
love
doing
people who
it
can tap
again.
dance. That is, oh my
Like,
God.
I can tap dance, like, I don't know, it's just, like, the rhythm, I just love,
Yes,
like
the
just
rhythm, the
love the
sound.
music and stuff, like,
Yes.
I I still
Me
have a
too.
pair of tap shoes, and I also did ballet. I used to hate ballet so much because my legs would not turn out because I always, like my legs were, like, face in, so it was so hard for me to turn out, and the teacher used to stress me out when I was, like,
Mm-hmm.
when she used to say, "Turn my feet out," because I thought they were turned out, but, like, I've learned, like, even through cheerleading, that's helped me a lot with, like, certain things in ballet because I feel like now, like, I feel more confident in myself when I'm dancing. I didn't feel that confident in myself. I always try to, like, shy away from being center.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I was center, I was center a couple times, like, I always feel so on guard because I feel like everybody was, like, watching me, but, like, at the end of the day, dance should be fun. It shouldn't have to feel like you have to do something, and
Yes.
it became a point where I felt like it was like I had dance because like in my dance school, the older you got, like the more you like classes you had per day. So I had dance Monday to was it Tuesday? I had dance Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only like I was only 9. So I felt really like I feel like that was like a lot for me at that time because I never had a chance to like really relax at home or like do things. Like I always be dancing. And like I liked it at first, but I feel like it became more of like a chore to me and I kind of like stopped doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to get back to doing it because I feel like now I'm ready to like balance myself out with movement because I've been trying to incorporate movement in my life because I'm usually like a painter and I'm like I realized that I'm very like mentally like balanced. I love doing things like that calm me mentally, but like I also want to work on like my physical like energy and how I transmute that. So you inspired me to start dancing again. Thank you so
That's
much. You
awesome.
really did.
Oh, thank you. Like, no, you've given me so much inspiration in this interview already. So speaking of transmutation, what do you do for transmutation at the moment? And for those who don't know what that is, transmutation is clearing energy or just kind of resetting yourself and kind of shifting your vibration from X. Like say if you were struggling, sad, uncomfortable, transmuting would be doing something to shift that, to change that, or at least feel through it. So how do you transmute at this moment?
I've been really like learning to like release burdens. Like
Mm-hmm.
I used to have I didn't really have grudges on people, but I felt like energetically I did. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest and it was so hard to like release that and like start over because I was like scared that like, oh my gosh, like what if this person does this or what if they do this? Like I can't like that was like I realized that was like a fear-based mentality that I was having around people and things that happened in the past. Like when something happened, you can't go back and like
Yeah.
change. Like it happened. And like I felt like I was still on the fact that it happened, that's happening when it happened already. And
Mhm.
people change and situations change. And I just basically like learned to like release and start over. Like even on my phone, I like cleared a lot off my phone and
Mhm.
kind of like restart, even if like we started things like people I used to like be friends with, like I'm starting to like rekindle some friendships that I really want in my life, or like I don't know, I just feel like I've learned to forgive people for myself.
Beautiful.
Whether like it doesn't even matter how bad like they've hurt me, because at the end of the day, like I realized that people like, especially people in my life, they didn't mean to hurt me the way they did. And I felt
Yeah.
like I never really like, I kind of always came off as like I blamed them like energetically. It's like it's your fault, you need to change. And like people change their own times. Like maybe they're not ready to like experience that part of their life yet, and maybe they're still learning about themselves. Like I
Mhm.
guess I think not everybody's on the same energetic level in life, and like everybody learns at different paces. So I
Absolutely.
feel like forgiving my past and forgiving, even though some situations were pretty rough on me mentally, like I still forgive them. And even if I see them, like I'm not gonna have a grudge against them. Like if they speak to me, I'll be like, hi. Like if they're mad at me, I can't control that. And they'll be mad at me about something, but I can't hold that energy,
Yeah.
because that's taking up like when you hold energy like against a person, or like that, that takes up your energy. And like I didn't realize that until like I started feeling more drained, like, and I
Mhm.
had more anxiety again, which is like a couple weeks ago. I realized like I had to do that. Like it was hard for me, but I had to, and I felt so much better ever since. Like it's good to just release the past, and also just focus on what you want to do in your future and start planning. That's very important.
Yes, definitely. Planning is so, 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 so crucial. And it's beautiful that you learned that now at this point and are being able to incorporate that into your lifestyle. Well, earlier on, you mentioned that you were going through some things and that you completely redid your room. Do you feel like that's a form of transmuting for you as well, like just shifting your environment?
Definitely, I kind of shift my environment a lot. Like some
Hmm.
people don't understand why I do it, but like for me, it's a way of like if I feel like I'm energetically complete with something, I'll rearrange my room, because I feel like energy stays stored in like spaces and
Hmm.
like objects, whether you realize that or not. Like the pencil you hold, like it's like little things like that. Like it's good to always like rearrange and like reset your energy rather than just going along. Like if you're upset, for example, and you just do things out of a sad mindset, it's gonna
Hmm.
be different than when you do things out of a happy mindset, because your intention is gonna be different. Like when you're sad, you're probably just trying to do it just to get it over with. But when you're
Hmm.
happy, you do it just to get fulfillment out of it.
So, what pieces have you been working on recently?
I've painted some things like in my past. Like
Mhm.
this is like my favorite piece ever. Like I started working on it in summer, and I recently finished it like around January.
So, I know you said it's only been a year, which is amazing that you just last summer and just seeing how your art has progressed so quickly. Um, how do you feel it's changed, just, even if just in this short period of time?
um, I mean, I'm very I and okay, so like I used to be really shy in like art class and stuff like that, because I felt like other artists were better than me, like skill wise, like they
Mm.
focused on their art more. And like I felt like I never really connected with like your typical like, now I can't even say that, but like back like a year ago, I thought there was like a typical type of artist. Like you
Mhm.
had to draw every day, you had to like be really good at drawing faces, and you have to have a certain style, like realism or like abstract art. Abstract art, I feel like it's so forced on to people to like. Like I never liked abstract art.
Mhm.
Even not until like recently when I've like
Mhm.
realized that abstraction is what I make it, not what rules it is. And I feel like it's a big thing. Like I never really liked like the way certain art classes were taught throughout my life, because
Mhm.
they taught you that you have to follow these rules and art to be good artists. But I
Mhm.
had some teachers who literally like they would give us a project, but they told us to put our own like spin on it, like anything we wanted to do, as long as we just use the materials. And
Mhm.
for me, that's the way of how I learned like what I like, because I used to always go above and beyond. That's I
Mhm.
loved art shows. Oh my gosh, like I miss like even in the class, like art class, like we get assigned a project and like we have to do a certain way, but like now like I feel like as my mindset changed on like how I perceive like learning, like I used to not like learning, like I didn't like being told how to do things because I felt like it was telling me how to like suppress my energy and like my creativity. But
Mhm.
now that like I learn know more about myself, I feel like it's a way of like using a topic and taking that topic into your own interpretation of what it means to you. Like that's what I've been doing a lot, like especially in school, like with writing and stuff. Like the things I write about now, like even if it's on topics, I've tied it in personally to what I believe, whether or not like it tied into the video we're watching or what we're learning class about or like anything like that. And my teachers, like they kind of like that about me. Like they like how in depth I get with like what I'm talking about. And I realize that once you connect things personally, it's more about yourself and not about what you're really doing. I
Mhm.
kind of like that. Like for me, it's something big because I like connecting things to myself and how I'm feeling. I just feel like when you're more in detail about your life and like it's like when like this interview, like it's in detail thing. It's not like I'm happy. It's like, well, why are you happy? Like I just love asking people questions and like
Mhm.
talking. Like I'm their friend who will get into depth about things. I just like learning about people
And
and
that's
who they are. Like
and I think that's part of what makes you gives you the beautiful opportunity to help other people because of the way you actually care. You want to get in depth and you care about more than just what the surface is offering.
yeah, like even I like reach out to people like Instagram or like Twitter or whatever. I haven't been on Twitter in so long, so I might start using that again because I used to be that was my main platform. So I
Hmm.
didn't have a phone because my phone broke. Like actually, when my phone broke, that actually kind of forced me to get more to know myself more because I was always on my phone all the time. But when I didn't have a phone, I kind of learned more about life, like not the life I was creating online, like my actual life. And now I feel like my actual life is tied into my actual life is like the same life I project online. Like I feel like I'm being authentic to myself, not being two different people. And it's really hard for people to like get into like tune with. Like that's
Hmm.
why I'm saying like you can't fear yourself. Like I literally feared myself. Like I was afraid of myself. And I felt like that was a problem. Like I can't be afraid of myself if I want to be myself, you know? Like what was I talking about again? I literally forgot. Like, okay, people can interpret it any way they want to. Like, why did they paint a happy face? Like, what's their meaning behind like the smile? Like, is it really a happy face or it's like a cover up for how somebody's like feels like they have to project themselves onto the world? Because I feel like I had to be a happy face. Like I felt like I had to be happy all the time because I was such like a happy person. I felt like it's what people like to see. And
Hmm.
more often than not, I was not a happy person. Like I was around so many people and people thought I was happy and but like I was felt like I just didn't know who I was.
You had to come into
Like it
your
was
own authenticity.
yeah, like it was a point like
Hmm.
I feel like I was around people who kind of didn't really understand me as a person. They kind of just knew who I was and what like vibe I gave off, but like they never really took the chance to get to know me as a person. And like I don't have any judgment towards that. I feel like that's also me not being authentic to myself. So I kind of like I felt like I came off a little bit closed to people.
Hmm.
Like even like relationships, like I wouldn't open up. I was just kind of like let the other person take the lead and like do whatever because I kind of didn't like understand. I feel like I wasn't ready to be in a relationship, honestly. I just feel like I just got into them. And I feel like that's a big thing that I'm learning about now. Like if it feels like an energetic match to me, then I'll invest in something, even a friendship. But if like I feel like I'm like energetically on a different level than that person,
Hmm.
like, I won't be rude to them, but I wouldn't really engage with them because I feel like then that'll also mess with my energy, and I feel like I have to be a certain way around somebody when I'm not really that way.
Yeah, you'd have
And
to
that
be
was
prepared. You'd have to be prepared to exist in that energetic field.
yeah, like now I'm kind of learning to like balance myself out. Like if I'm like now I realize like if I'm around certain people, if there's certain things I can't talk about because they're not gonna understand, but I want to talk about, like I'll kind of like bring it up but they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't really understand. I can't force somebody to understand because maybe that's not their, maybe it's not for them to understand in this lifetime. Like I feel there's different lifetimes like we go through. Like I feel like we're all reincarnated like I feel like we're reincarnated around the same people we were reincarnated in our last lifetime, but like different positions. Like somebody who was like my best friend could be like my sister in my past life, or like somebody who's like I get along with really well could have been like a friend or like maybe like a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I've researched that, and apparently like there are type of relationships that you have, like if somebody feels more like a mothering energy to you and you don't know why, like that could have been a mother in one of your past lives, or like
Mm-hmm.
if your spouse like feels like a sibling to you or feels like an older brother to you, then that could have been like that person. Or like if somebody gets off a father figure vibe, like maybe it could have been like your father in your past life. And like I feel like that makes so much sense. Like I think about that because it's like I feel like learning about who I was in my past, that's what I really want to try to learn more about, like why I do certain things. Because I study a lot about like divine feminine and masculine and karmic energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you know what that is. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
what that is or no?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like there's lessons in this lifetime I need to learn. I feel like I learned a lot of them. Like a big thing with me to communicate because like I got a past life reading, and the number 3 is very important in like my lifetime. And it really is like I got a reading one time, it's pretty accurate. And they were telling me about like my past life and the
Mm-hmm.
things I went through. And it's the things that I went through in my past life that I struggle with now. And
Mm-hmm.
like the person didn't even know me. It's like a random like reading, and I was a little bit freaked out. So I learned that like studying myself has really been like the point in which my art has changed in a way.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And I think self study, that's one of the greatest ways that we can show ourselves self love as well.
Yeah,
That's where our evolution gets to truly take flight, is when we take the time to still ourselves and learn. It's the
definitely.
greatest gift. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I was going to ask what's your favorite artwork, but you already showed us, which I absolutely.
Well, I have a couple. I have a portrait of myself on this wall because I love, okay, a little fun fact, I love vintage type of like looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know corsets are a trend right now, but like I like the type of like Victorian, like
Mm.
1950s type of pinup like look, as well as like the gothic like castle type of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like burlesque stuff. Like I've been getting into that. And like kind of like I don't know, I've always liked that type of like royal type of vibe, like in myself. So I feel like it's kind of reflected in my work because I just like to incorporate like how I'm feeling or how I perceive like myself in my work and like what I'm connecting to. Like the things I'll paint is like literally what's going on in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that's what I like to do.
Okay. Well, what are some of your greatest inspirations then? Like when you sit down to create, or even when you don't, like what do you feel, just maybe even in everyday life, what are some of your greatest inspirations?
Um, Mainly like what I feel like I stand for in life, like
Mm-hmm.
how much power I feel like I have, like my power as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I paint nature, I think about how much I've grown as a person, also how like delicate and like beautiful energy is and how I view my energy. So I paint a pretty flower. Like
Mm-hmm.
if I've always painted without thinking. Like I just paint. Like it just feels natural to me. Like I don't have to think about what I'm gonna paint. I just go along as I paint something. And I've realized that I kind of painted a lot of flowers in water, and I feel like it's like subconscious in my mind, like things that I feel very connected to. Like I don't paint people that much. I want to, like I just never feel drawn to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I tried painting somebody one time and I literally just said, you know, I'm not gonna do it. Like I like fairies too. Like, I always loved fairies. Like I love watching Tinkerbell. My favorite fairy, I don't know her name. It's like the garden fairy. I
Uh,
forgot her name. And like I don't know, like I just love like I love creatures that people don't believe, the things that people don't know about. I love the
yeah.
unknown aspect of life. Like I'm not afraid about like I love learning about like dark energies, not like dark worship of energies. I don't resonate with that. I feel like other people do, and I'm not gonna judge people on that because I feel like everybody resonates with different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for me, like learning and being okay to accept like the darkness about life and the light in life, because there's no shadow without light, and in order to create shadow you need dark and light. So I feel like even with like your shadow self, like it's like the hidden aspect of yourself, and I feel like I'm more connected with my shadow self, and I kind of like to bring that into reality, because your shadow self is what you who you really are. But like the way society portrays is that, oh, you need to work on it. It's like that's who you really are as a person, but like you kind of shy away from being that person. You don't realize like it's like the little small things. Like with me, like I had to work on being able to be more like expression without judgment was something I'm really big on. Like I don't like when people judge other people for anything, because you never know what somebody's going through and how they express themselves. Like maybe they express themselves a certain way because it's how they feel. Like everybody goes through a different journey in life, and people have to learn at their own rate. So I feel like for me, a big thing was that learning to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what was the? I'm trying to remember the question.
Oh, it's okay.
See, I got carried away, and I'm trying to
It's
remember.
all good. We were just talking about your favorite art pieces and then also
Yeah,
how those things have transitioned.
but my favorite art pieces has to be this teddy bear I painted for to get into like an art class in high school, like my 8th grade portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
and like the self-portrait I painted, and this thing on cardboard. Oh, I forgot I had this. Oh my gosh, I forgot I had this. Ugh. I didn't have canvases when I first started painting because I kind of like I ran out of the canvases. Like I kind of didn't buy a lot, so I painted. She's supposed to be Rihanna from Picture, but I don't know. It's like the first thing I ever painted, the second thing I ever painted of a person, and I tried so hard on it.
That is,
And then the water
the
looks so
water looks
beautiful.
amazing. Yeah,
I know, like
water
I'm
is
so
great.
proud of it. Like
You should.
that's like that's like my favorite piece. And this, I painted this about 20 times, like over and over again, because I just was not satisfied with it. And
Wow.
I feel like I'm not done with it. Like
I
I
love the
didn't,
mushrooms.
thank you. Like I didn't seal the painting all the way. And I feel like that's because like I never feel fully done with my art. And a big thing that I was taught is that, oh, you have to feel like if like when you don't feel fully done with your art, that's when it's done. And I don't feel like that's the case, because
Yeah.
I came back to artwork 5 years ago that I've done that I'm like starting to like feel like I want to add more to it. Like I feel like the creative process is never done. Like I seal paintings when I feel like they're finished, or
Mhm.
when I feel like if I add something else, I might have to start over. And I don't want to start over on some paintings that I really like. So I
Yeah.
feel like I'll seal it. Like I've recently sealed like a couple paintings that I feel like I finished. Like this tarot painting that I painted, it looks so different. Like it looked okay, because I was like watching Maleficent, and I was like, I just love like the aspect of it. So I kind of changed it, and I put wings on like the character, and I put like this yellow little orb, and
Mhm.
it was looking so different before, but like I sealed it like that because I felt like that's how I resonate more with like that energy.
Mhm.
And for the sun, like I kind of put like an orb from the sun, like it means something. Like I don't think people like some people are like, why do you do that? But I'm like, if I understand why I did it, then that's all that matters. Like
Yeah.
I put like an orb on her face because I wanted to signify like the energy of light that goes into everything.
Mhm.
So I feel that was really good that I did that for me. And
Yeah,
also
that's
this
a lot of it.
piece,
Art has to be, it has to resonate with you. It's your,
definitely. Like even this piece right here, like I was gonna add a face on the baby, but
mhm.
like now I think I like doing things faceless because I feel like energy is faces. Like we tend to associate masculine and feminine energies with like females and males, but everything has masculine and feminine energy.
Mhm.
Like feminine energy is known to be more nurturing and more like sensitive. And
Mhm.
then I feel like masculine's more to be like more like like authoritative and like more like I don't want to say stable because I feel like stability, that's a whole nother topic to talk about. I feel like masculine's more like in charge and like indirect and like going after, and the feminine's more like emotional, like nurturing. But like we all have those aspects in ourselves. I just feel like people choose to express which aspect they want to express that they feel like they most resonate with. Like some and I
Yep.
feel like we do live in a simulation, not like an action simulation, but like an energetic simulation. Because when I talk about spirituality, like there's always gonna be people who have something to say about what you believe in, but that's just because they don't understand the topic. And when people don't understand something, they judge it. And that's a big thing I've learned. And I can't help that about people. I feel like people learn at different rates, but like can't be afraid to be like different, or you can't be afraid to just not be what people expect of you. That's a big thing.
Hmm. Yeah, you have to find your confidence in your own self and your own voice and your own space, and allow that to be what guides you.
Definitely. I'm loving this interview. I'm loving talking to you. Like I just haven't felt so relaxed talking to somebody. Like
So glad. I was
your
hoping
vibe is just so calm. It's like pretty.
that's literally just how I try to be. Thank you. Like go with the
Mhm.
flow is literally just like what I try to live by. It's just like, all right, if something happens, like when you said yesterday, like can we reschedule? I was like, all right, deep breaths, go with
Yeah,
the
I was worried because I
flow.
didn't want you to be upset with me because I kept like
Oh,
it was phone. Like I didn't want to like make you feel like your time is like being because I understand people have lives too, but like I feel like you
yeah.
understand like I was just tired yesterday. I was so tired. I was gonna do something yesterday, but like I was so tired. Just I'm gonna just put it off until Easter or the day after Easter.
Yeah. No, and that's so important. And that's something that my partner and I have been like, discussing and dealing with ourselves. It's just if something doesn't feel aligned or it's not resonating in this moment, it's okay. Take a pause, take a break. Like we'll do it when it is meant to be done. Like when it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Don't force it. And so yeah, I just took my deep breath. So I was just like, okay, there's a reason it's meant to happen on X
yeah,
day. So all right, we're just gonna go with the flow. It's another time,
yeah,
another challenge and another opportunity to see like are you truly growing in this lessons that you've been learning, because that's been one of my biggest lessons spiritually is truly trusting and not fearing
yeah,
something is wrong or whatever. It's trusting that like okay, the universe is going to keep everything balanced and in alignment. This needs to happen in order for something else to happen, so
yeah.
just trust it, go with the flow, and it's all going to be great.
Mindset, like the way you see something totally changes the whole outcome of things. Like I realize that so much. Like
Hmm.
just seeing things in a different way can really change your day.
And that's why I'm enjoying having these conversations, because that's a perspective that I want to bring to, other people. Is just the more we have conversations like that and open up the possibilities and the awareness to people that this is a thing, and that, having these different conversations or having certain people that you can go to in certain times to have conversations with and to express with, that can change everything. And just, taking these moments to check in with self and having certain practices, like you said, you have certain things that you do daily, like your tarot
Yeah.
check-in, that will help you recenter and rebalance and be able to, perceive.
Do and some people that I used to have in my life are shocked by the things I do now. And I'm like, yeah, like
And that's beautiful.
I know because I just feel like I'm just a different person and I've changed so much since December. Like I'm like really proud of myself. I was telling myself the other day, and it makes me cry when I say that because like I've never really heard people tell me they're proud of me in my life. Besides, like your parents tell you and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I feel like it's different when you accept things from your perspective because your parents can see something that is like achievable. Like like, your parents are gonna always like they're like your parents. Like
Yeah,
they kind of already like
biggest
see you
supporters.
act successful no matter they see you as successful no matter like how you say you feel. Like if you say, oh, I don't feel successful, they're gonna be like, no, you did a good job. But like for me, because I always felt like I was missing something. And the whole time the thing I was missing was myself. Like
Wow.
I was here, but like I was not there. I was somewhere on social media trying to wonder why like I felt like how I can better myself in the eyes of people rather than in my eyes of myself.
Wow, that's huge.
Like I competed with myself when the whole time I just needed to like learn about myself. Like when you compete with other people over something, it's about why. Like why do you feel you have to compete with something when it's already there? Like even in artists, like I see so many artists competing to like be a better painter in person. Like even like for businesses, they're trying to get more customers. The customers are never gonna go away. Like there's always people on the earth. Like as long as you're creating, somebody's gonna buy your thing. Whether or not you're selling it, like you can literally DM people and ask people if you, hey, like, are you interested in something? Like I feel like a lot of people miss their opportunity by feeling like people have to reach out to them when they can reach out to people. Like you
Mm.
shouldn't be afraid to reach out to people if you really want something. Like people put off this image that they're okay, because I used to do that. When in reality, maybe they're going through a hard time in their lives. Like you shouldn't judge somebody just because of how they appear to be. Like that's like a big thing I want to do is get to know people and like that's why I like that you're doing this because it helps people really express who they are to the world rather than just posting a picture and being like, here's your information for today of me or like
Mm.
here's what I'm working on because what somebody's really working on might not be really what they're working on. Like the message that I send behind my work is not what maybe seen in a post. Like a post is a picture and a picture can only go so far. And like it has unlimited ideas, but like you're never gonna really know what that person is thinking unless you ask them and talk to them.
A little bit more on the who are you, what about you as Anacia. Where are you from if you're comfortable with sharing? Like what's your background?
Well, I'm like, I'm gonna start with like where I'm like, the basic location, like where I'm from. Like
Mhm.
right now I'm living in New Jersey. Like I was born in New Jersey, raised in New Jersey, spent most of my life and spent all my life in New Jersey. Like I went to New York a couple times, went to Maine. Never ever like went on an airplane. I'm afraid of airplanes, so I'm gonna face that fear. I'm just afraid of airplanes. Like I don't like heights.
Mhm.
Like I even tried to like heights. Like I went on this roller coaster I was so scared to go on, but like the feeling I just get, like it's just too many like different type of energy changes in me. But like I gotta go. I have to do it. Like I'm gonna do that. But I'm also Native American and I have African roots. I'm also Barbadian from Barbados and have like a small percent of Irish in me. I probably have more, but like I never really got that far into like myself. But I'm Cherokee. Like I'm from these islands. I forgot what they're called, but they're a part of Virginia. They're like small little islands. I'm that's like where I'm from because like my mom would tell me how like the Cherokee tribe are from. This it's like a tribe that live on those little islands. I'll like show you. Like I'll like tell you later. I just want to figure out because I could never find a name for them. And like when I looked them up, like they were on a map, but they were just unknown territory. Like that's what popped up. And I was like, there's definitely a name for that.
Beautiful. So, is there anything you specifically want to share with people, with the family about you, or it just anything? Just
Well, I recently like released my magazine
mhm,
and my concept is to incorporate creators in it as well as express their works. I feel like people they don't really get like expression of like not expression exposure that they deserve
mhm,
with their work, especially if they're trying and trying. And I feel like so many people are overseen by people, and I want to incorporate that in my magazine. And a lot of people viewed it. Like I even put it in my bio because I just want so many people to view it and like
mhm.
I'm like look at these artists, look at their work, like look at what people are creating, and also incorporate like my work in it. And also like I've been working on a project that I wonder like I'm gonna come out with it maybe on the 11th of April. Like I'm gonna talk about it on like my Instagram feed, but I want to keep that a secret because I want to surprise people.
Mhm.
I want to surprise people. But yeah, I've been like working on like a lot lately. And hey, Brady.
Hi. Are you gonna fall asleep?
Yeah, I'm on like a an art thingy.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's my sister. But like I've kind of been like working on like a lot of things mentally. Like
Mhm.
I've been learning to like ground myself and balance things out in my life and also like feel whole within myself. That's why I took a break from like
Mhm.
social media for a while. Like I was up there, but wasn't really up there. Like I was like liking people's stuff, but I wasn't really engaging the way I usually engage. So I just need some time to myself to get some ideas flowing and stuff.
Mhm. That's beautiful. And that's so important that we take time for self, we calibrate, and, make sure we're operating out of spaces that are healthy and beneficial for us and not just, just for the sake of engaging with other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we start to lose ourselves or become just further dissatisfied with, what's going on
Yeah,
in our environment.
because like sometimes there'll be a point when I'm painting, but I'm not satisfied with what I'm making, just painting to paint. And I don't like doing that. Like I don't like creating just to create. And
Hmm.
I feel like for a lot of artists, like they struggle with that. They feel like they have to constantly, like if you're a business, you constantly have to put out stuff. Like you don't have to do that. Like if
Hmm.
you created something months ago, still promote it. Like I showcase art that I created on like last summer, and
Hmm.
people like to see it, and like I like it. Like as long as you like just promote yourself, whether you don't feel like you're ready, you're always ready. Like your time is now, and that's something I've learned. Like you can't keep saying, "Oh, when my time comes." Like
Hmm.
time is only what exists now. Like you never know what's gonna happen in the future. You never know how your life's gonna be. Like what happened, whether it's good or bad. Like you have to expect the unexpected, and that's so true. You can't expect something to go a certain way because nothing's ever going to go according to your expectation. Like it might be something, even if it does, always like something that you didn't expect happen, you know?
Hmm.
Or even with like what somebody asks you or says, like even when somebody comments, you can't expect like you can't know the exact comment somebody's gonna write when you post a picture. You just have
Hmm.
to promote yourself, because the more you promote yourself and what you do and you're happy with what you do, the more people will start to recognize what you do. And I feel like that's a big thing in life that a lot of people underlook, and I feel like people wonder why they feel a certain way, but like can't judge yourself. And a lot of creators judge themselves, like even on YouTube. Like I see them constantly having to like post things that other YouTubers are doing, and then they have like a video when they talk about how they're stressed out, and I'm like, maybe I feel like people became more personal with themselves like on camera, then I feel like that'll be easier for them mentally. I think that's some advice people should know. Like, present yourself the way you feel. Don't try to put on a show just because you feel like other people will like it.
Hmm. Yeah.
And if people don't like the real you, then they're not meant to be like associated. Maybe they're not meant to. You're not meant to help them. They're not meant to be on your path in life. Like,
Hmm.
there's people I've gained, there's people I've lost, and honestly, the people I've gained they resonate with me more than the people I've lost in my path. But I feel like nobody's really lost. Like everybody comes in for a reason, and
Yep.
I realized that because the reasons that the people came into my life when I was going through something that when I didn't feel authentic to myself, those are the people who actually helped me so much find myself. Even
Hmm.
though they were bad things, like I feel like I learned a lesson, and sometimes they do come back. And I feel like people always like they understand people see you differently than how you see yourself. And I feel like you always have to keep that in mind. Like, if you want to come across one way, it doesn't matter how you come across to people because everybody sees you differently. Like that's something that you might find attractive, other people might be like that's not attractive, or something that a hobby that you like people might not like. Like I
Hmm.
also like sports. I'm a very athletic person. I do not show that a lot because I like it for fun. I don't really want to pursue it as a career.
Hmm.
Like I used to play point guard in 6th grade when I played basketball, and in 10th grade I was point guard for like a game, and then I used to play. But then when I played basketball, I felt like a kid again because I felt so fun. Like it was just so fun. Like I didn't care if we won the game or lost the game as long as I played and had fun. Like that's all that matters. Like people are so caught up in likes and, oh, if this person likes me back, or maybe if I'm like, or if you're constantly like, trying to make yourself or your body seem a certain way, or like maybe like trying to always come across as happy, or like maybe like get a hairstyle that you feel like other people will like seem as cool. Like I feel like everybody's cool in their own way, whether people realize that or not. Like That's a big thing for me to realize. Like, you can't expect somebody not to like you because you already have an expectation of yourself about that. You can't do that to yourself. And people deserve so much better than what they give themselves credit for. Like, it makes me want to cry now because, like, I
Aw.
just feel like people are so hard on themselves about everything. Like, I used to be really hard on myself about everything. I don't want people to be like that. Like, I don't like, that's why I don't like society. Like, oh, I do not like society in the way they make people feel bad about what they have. And when it comes to that, like some people feel like they can't wear certain things. Like I used to feel like I couldn't wear certain things because I would be judged. Like I used to buy things that were trending and I did not like the style at all. But like I forced myself to like it in some way. And
Mhm.
now that I think about it, the things that I like are coming back into trend. And I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe why'd I stop wearing it if it's gonna be a trend? Like you get what I'm saying? Like why would I stop wearing it because society told me to stop wearing it? And then they the big thing.
Mhm.
Like instead of judging other people, accept them for who they are and embrace that. Like even like judging somebody just because of how they look or how they come across off in the street. Like
Mhm.
once you judge somebody, that means you're judging yourself. And I feel like that's a reflection of yourself. Like your actions are a reflection of how you feel about yourself.
Mhm.
And it's a big thing. And I know some people are gonna disagree with that, and maybe they might feel like a certain type of way, but I just feel like once you learn to accept yourself and you start to view the world in a different light,
Mhm.
in positive light. And that's something I have to do because I used to be a very judgmental person. I didn't like, I knew deep down it's not where I was, but I just feel like I did it because I've seen other people do it. And I would feel bad. Like I started feeling really bad about the things I was doing. And I was like, I can't do that. And it was so
Beautiful
hard to
that you were
focus.
able to recognize that.
Yeah, I was okay. Like I realized like the things I was not a bad person for doing certain things. I just need to be more aware of myself and my actions and what I'm doing. Like
Mhm.
self-awareness is not what people portray it to be. It's not, oh, I have to know what I'm doing at every second. It's being mindful and
Mhm.
being like in a conscious mindset of what you're doing rather than just doing something out of like your ego or just because people know you for that or like living up to other people and fear of being judged because at the end of the day we're our own worst critic and we judge ourselves the hardest in how other people judge us. Like you can't be afraid in life. That's like the biggest thing. Once you're afraid you're never going to really live. Like
And
I'm like loving this
that's it for
interview.
everyone. I'm
Yeah, me
glad.
too.
That's literally my desire and my goal with everyone is for everyone to feel comfortable, to get to share themselves, just creating that platform so that we can all just kind of connect better and reflect better. And there's something that you can
Definitely.
offer that can probably help someone else, you know, offering things that either I haven't thought about or someone else. And so I think that's something that's important to share is that we all have something that can either support, help, enlighten, or
Yeah.
just help someone else feel seen. 11th, is there anything else you're working on that you can tell people about that they can look forward to seeing? I know you did the
Oh yeah, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel soon. I'm
ooh.
gonna talk about things I talk about in the interview, but like more in depth. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about like energy and like I'll get personal up there. I've never been personal in front of people before, unless it was like, like little friends or something. But like I'm gonna get personal up there. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be lit. I'm gonna be like relaxed. Like you don't have to worry about like I'm not gonna be like other YouTubers. I'm gonna be Anacia because there's only one Anacia, and I'm gonna be Anacia. So
Absolutely. I think that's where our liberation comes from is when we express, when we share, and when we do that in community. And
definitely,
that's definitely my desire with House of Fluid Reflections is just that community. Like we come so far from embracing community, and it's so often it's this person or that person or this group or that group pitted against each other versus realizing we're all in similar spaces in one way or another, and doing a community effort will probably feel a whole lot better to all of us than struggling or um, operating with discord. Well, I think we're starting to come to a close here. We talked about a whole lot. Is
We
there
did.
anything as a close that you would like to offer to other artists, creators, or just people in general? Just a piece of advice or a thought or a feeling that
Yeah.
you'd like to leave with people?
I'll just say if you want to do something or if you feel calling to do it, do it. Like for me, I just did it. You're always ready, whether you feel like it or not. Like if you want to start something, do it. Like don't wait just because people tell you to wait. Or if you feel like you should wait, then wait. If you feel you should do it, do it. But I will always say just do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But do it mindfully. Like do it. Make sure you're cautious what you're doing. Don't do something just to do it. Like be cautious of what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
and have a consciousness of I'm aware of myself and do not try to make something that you think everybody else will like.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't like what you're making, make something different. It doesn't matter if you've been making the same thing for 3 years, the same type of painting. Like you, like creativity is infinite. Like there's no one way to express yourself. Be free to express yourself in any way you want to express yourself. Whether your family would judge you, like it doesn't matter. Like people will see you for who you are, and that's what matters the most in life, whether people like that or not. And just feel like being happy in who you are and finding that contentment in any form that's benefiting you and not harming you. A big thing is making sure you're not harming yourself. Harm is never the answer. Like, there's always something you can do. Like there's always a way out. Whether you feel like you're at rock bottom, like reach out to people. Like you'll be surprised of like the things like the thing like how much people can help you. Or maybe like take time by yourself and think. Like a big thing I did was find my birth chart. And I know it's really like silly, but like just I
Mm-hmm.
mean if you really don't know what to do, look up your birth chart. You need your name, your birthday, where you were born at, and that's all you need to include. And they just tell you about yourself. Do what you are afraid of. That's what you need to do the most. What you fear the most is what you need to learn about the most. And I feel like that's a big thing. Like I was afraid of like endings and like death and stuff like that. But like my perspective of death and endings has changed a lot. And that's part of life. Like you can't be afraid to end things. You can't be afraid of change. You can't be afraid of doing the unexpected, because that one little thing that you think is so stupid can be $1 billion idea. I mean, it happens all the time, like with phones. Nobody really thought people were gonna buy a flat phone if there's already like a flip phone out. And people brought it. Like nobody thought Amazon was gonna be as big as it was. And it is. Like people didn't know credit cards were gonna be a big thing. And it was like have to expect the unexpected. And also follow me on my links. Are you gonna like put my links in here?
Yeah. That's coming.
Okay, I can like send you my links tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like
So
follow me
we'll
on
follow
my
you.
links.
Give them your socials. You can say them or whatever.
Definitely at Anacia on Instagram, ANACIIAA. Also at Anacia the artist, ANACIA the artist. And Artsy Butterfly Magazine, one word. And also the Magic Goddess, magic spelled with a CK in the end, and goddess. Also, I just want to say, like, I'm wishing people so much abundance, so you can get through it. Like, we're all in COVID, but like, quarantine might actually, like, is it really quarantine or is it a time for us to learn about ourselves? Like, that's what I feel like quarantine is. That's all I have to say. Love and blessings and abundance. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Like, I'm so serious. Like, also, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I did respond. I'm very nice. And also, I really love to talk. So if you guys ever need help or anything, if you're going through something, or if you want to be a part of my work or like be a part of anything I'm doing or like, anything, like reach out to me. I'm like always available to speak and talk. And yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Anacia. I had fun chatting with you and talking with you
Me
today.
too.
To know you better. I had fun arting with you. I'm excited to see your finished product. I'm excited to see what mine winds up being.
Me too.
Go route this time instead of a canvas. But yes, this has been great. Thank you so much. You have been wonderful. And we will follow up to see what your creation wound up ending as, whenever it is that you complete it, whenever spirit says, you know what, sis, you are done. This is perfect. You'll just let us know, and we will chat with you the next time. This has been great. This has been House of Fluid Reflections, Artist Touch, episode 2 with the wonderful Anacia. Please follow her on all her platforms. They will be linked down here and in the description with links, so you can just click on over and check her out. But feel free to support, like if you appreciated this interview, comment what your favorite part was, or comment with if there's something new that you learned. Let us know it was something that you learned that was, I definitely learned some new things. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe. It'll help the community grow and help us support having more conversations just like this. All right, thank you so much. We're out.
Bye.